Welcome back to Women of Worth, the podcast that's all about empowering women to live healthier, more fulfilling lives. Today, we're diving into a topic that affects all of us: stress. Life can get busy, overwhelming, and sometimes it feels like there's no way to escape the daily pressure. But here's the good news: managing stress doesn't have to be complicated. In today's episode, we're going to explore daily habits that can help you live a stress-free life. Whether it's starting your day with mindfulness, setting boundaries at work, or finding time for a hobby you love, these simple changes can make a world of difference. Before we get started, if you're new here, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe to our channel. We post new episodes every week, all designed to help you improve your mental health and overall well-being. And if you know someone who could benefit from living a more stress-free life, go ahead and share this video with them. Together, we can build a community of strong, empowered women who support each other in living their best lives. Now, let's dive into the practical habits that can help you reduce stress and find more balance in your daily routine.
Hey everyone, and welcome back. Today we're going to be looking at stress and specifically stress-free living for women, because, juggling all the roles we play can sometimes be super overwhelming.
It really can be.
So to help us navigate all this, we're turning to an episode of the Women of Worth podcast, which was just packed with advice on creating a calmer and more balanced life. They shared 9 daily habits that can make a world of difference.
And these habits go beyond just surface-level stress relief. They really tap into things like self-compassion and setting boundaries.
Yeah, that sounds amazing. So let's dive into the first habit they talk about: starting your day with mindfulness.
Okay.
They argue that if you wake up and immediately get sucked into your to-do list, that sets a stressful tone for the whole day. Have you ever felt that?
Absolutely. It's like you're starting a race already out of breath.
Right. So they suggest taking 5 to 10 minutes each morning to do some mindfulness practices, like maybe meditation or deep breathing. And the key here is to do this before you check your phone or start your routine.
Yeah. Those first few moments are so important. Even just a couple minutes of quiet can help you center yourself and approach the day more calmly.
I love that.
Yeah.
Now, speaking of the to-do list, I think we can all relate to the feeling of being overwhelmed by a mile-long to-do list.
Oh, yeah. It's like you're trying to climb a mountain with a backpack full of rocks.
That's a great way to put it.
Yeah.
So, Women of Worth suggest creating a manageable to-do list. So instead of trying to cram everything in, they recommend just choosing 3 to 5 main tasks for the day.
And it's really helpful to prioritize those tasks, too. Ask yourself what really needs to get done today and what can maybe wait.
Yeah, that's a good point. And they even recommend using a planner or an app to help you stay organized and focused on those priorities.
Because when you're clear on what you need to accomplish, you can approach each task with more intention and way less stress.
I like that. All right. So we talked about starting the day with mindfulness and creating a manageable to-do list. Now let's move on to habit number 3, incorporating regular exercise.
This one is so important, but it's often the first thing to go when we're feeling stressed or busy.
Totally. I know I'm guilty of that.
Yeah.
But Women of Worth reminded us that even short bursts of exercise can have a huge impact on our mood and energy. And did you know that physical activity actually releases endorphins, which are natural stress relievers?
It's true. And you don't have to do anything too intense to get the benefits. A brisk walk, some yoga, even dancing around your living room can help.
Love that. And they even suggest finding ways to make exercise more enjoyable, like maybe listening to a podcast while you walk or going for a hike in nature. It's about finding what works for you and making it a sustainable part of your routine.
Yeah. Because when you enjoy something, you're much more likely to stick with it.
That's so true.
Okay.
Let's talk about habit number 4 now, setting boundaries around work. This is especially important for women who work from home or have demanding jobs where the lines between work and personal life can get blurry. Have you ever struggled with that?
Oh, definitely. It's so easy to feel like you're always on, constantly checking emails, even during your downtime.
Yeah, I know exactly what you mean. It can lead to feeling stressed and burned out, even in your free time. So Women of Worth really stresses how important it is to set specific work hours and to stick to them.
Yes. Treat those work hours like appointments you wouldn't miss. And when it's time to clock out, really disconnect.
I like that. They also suggest having a routine to help you transition out of work mode.
Yeah. Like shutting down your computer at a certain time, maybe taking a walk or doing a hobby.
Anything that signals to your mind and body that it's time to relax.
Because rest and rejuvenation are just as important as productivity.
Absolutely. Okay, so we've talked about mindfulness, manageable to-do lists, exercise, and work boundaries. This next habit is all about shifting your mindset.
It is. It's about practicing gratitude every day.
Okay. And the Women of Worth episode actually talked about a study that showed practicing gratitude for just 5 minutes a day can actually rewire your brain's negativity bias. Isn't that wild?
It is, because when we're always focused on what's wrong, it's so easy to feel stressed and dissatisfied. But gratitude helps us shift our focus to what we do have. It's about appreciating the good in our lives, no matter how small.
I love that. They suggest taking a few minutes each day to write down 3 things you're grateful for.
It can be anything, really. A cup of coffee, a nice sunset, a kind word from a friend.
Exactly. And over time, this practice can help us focus on the positive, even when things are tough.
Like you're training your mind to look for the good, even in the middle of challenges.
So we've covered 5 really powerful habits so far. We're going to take a quick break, and we'll be right back with 4 more stress-busting tips from Women of Worth.
Welcome back. We're continuing to look at these stress-free habits from the Women of Worth podcast.
So we've talked about mindfulness and to-do lists and exercise, work boundaries and gratitude. But sometimes even when we try our best, life gets in the way. And one of the first things to go when we're stressed is, well,
It's funny, isn't it? We need sleep to function. But it's the first thing we sacrifice when we're overwhelmed.
exactly. And Women of Worth really emphasize how important it is to get enough sleep for managing stress and just for having a healthy mindset in general. They talked about a study that showed that if you don't get enough sleep, it can actually increase your cortisol levels,
Oh, wow.
which is our main stress hormone.
Yeah, it's like a vicious cycle. Lack of sleep makes us more stressed, and then stress makes it harder to sleep.
That's so true.
Oh.
So they recommend trying to get 7 to 9 hours of sleep every night. And they even shared some tips for improving sleep quality.
Like what kinds of things?
Well, they mentioned having a calming nighttime routine.
Okay.
Like dimming the lights and avoiding screens before bed.
Yeah.
And maybe doing something relaxing like reading or taking a bath.
I like those. Those sound good.
Yeah, it's about creating a space that makes it easier to fall asleep.
That makes sense. They also talked about the importance of going to bed and waking up at the same time every day, even on the weekends. That helps regulate your natural sleep cycle.
So you can fall asleep easier and wake up feeling refreshed.
Exactly.
This next habit might be harder for some people,
Yeah.
but it's really important. Learning to delegate and ask for help. A lot of women feel like they have to do everything themselves.
I think that's true. We're always trying to be super women, trying to juggle everything perfectly,
Right.
but it's not sustainable. And trying to do it all alone leads to burnout.
Women of Worth had a really interesting take on this. They said that asking for help isn't weak. It's actually strong because it shows that you value your time and that you're willing to let go of the need to control everything.
I like that perspective.
Yeah. They say to try to delegate tasks, both at work and at home,
Okay.
because sharing responsibilities not only lightens our load, but it lets us focus on what we're best at.
It's about recognizing your limits and letting other people help out.
Yeah. Now, shifting gears a bit, let's talk about habit number 8, engaging in a hobby you love. When life gets busy, it's easy to forget about our hobbies. But the Women of Worth episode reminded us that hobbies are a good way to escape from stress.
Yeah, they let us be creative and explore our interests and just have fun.
Exactly. And when we do things that make us happy, it reduces our stress and we feel better overall.
Makes sense.
They recommend scheduling time for your hobby at least once a week, even if it's just for 30 minutes. And don't let anything get in the way of that time.
It's an investment in your well-being.
It is. And finally, let's talk about eating healthy foods. What we eat affects our mood and energy levels, and it even affects how well we deal with stress.
That's interesting.
It's true.
When we're stressed and busy, it's so easy to just eat whatever's quick and convenient, like processed foods or sugary drinks.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
But those things can actually make stress worse.
The Women of Worth episode talked about how certain nutrients can affect our brain and even help us regulate our stress response. For example, magnesium is known as the relaxation mineral because it can help calm your nervous system. And omega-3 fatty acids can reduce inflammation and improve your mood.
So, what should we be eating?
They suggest eating a balanced diet full of whole foods, like fruits and vegetables and lean proteins. and healthy fats. They also recommend planning out your meals in advance, so you're not tempted to make unhealthy choices when you're stressed.
That's a really good tip.
It is. We've covered so much today, 9 powerful habits that can really change how we deal with stress. What did you find most interesting from the Women of Worth episode?
I think the biggest thing for me was how important it is to take care of yourself. It's not selfish at all. When we take care of ourselves, we're better able to handle everything else life throws at us.
I completely agree. It's about filling up our own cups, so we have enough to give to others.
Exactly.
This has been a really great conversation. I know I've learned a lot, and I hope our listeners have too. We're back and ready to wrap up our look at stress-free living.
We've gone through 9 amazing habits from the Women of Worth episode that can really help us deal with stress in a better way.
And it's good to know that even little changes can make a big difference in our well-being if we do them regularly.
Absolutely. It's not about being perfectly stress-free all the time. It's more about having ways to deal with stress when it comes up.
And it's okay if we're not perfect at it.
Exactly. So as we finish up here, I want to leave you with a challenge. Pick one of the 9 habits we discussed, the one that really resonated with you, and try practicing it every day for the next week.
Just one. I think I can do that.
The idea is to start small and build from there. So pick the habit that feels right for you now. Maybe it's the morning mindfulness, or making time for a hobby.
Or maybe setting boundaries with work, or making sure you get enough sleep.
Whatever it is, make it a part of your daily routine.
Yeah.
And pay attention to how you feel. Notice any changes in your energy, your mood, your overall well-being.
I bet there will be some noticeable changes.
Even small changes add up over time. So make self-care a priority. You deserve it. And remember, stress doesn't have to control us. We have the power to choose how we respond to it. By using these habits, we can create a sense of calm and resilience that allows us to not just survive, but really thrive.
That was beautifully said. This has been such a great conversation, and I feel inspired to focus on my own well-being.
Me too. It's good to remember that we all have the power to create a more balanced life.
And self-care is not selfish. It's necessary. It's about meeting our own needs so we can be our best selves.
Absolutely.
Thanks for joining us for this deep dive into stress-free living. We'd love to hear your thoughts. Which habit are you going to try? Share your comments below. And be sure to like and subscribe and share this with other women in your life.